presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
On a gorgeous evening here in Miami, the Nationals and the Marlins finish off a three-game series. And if Game 3 is anything like Game 1 or Game 2, you're in for a treat. A near no-hitter in Game 1, an epic comeback by the Marlins last night in Game 2. Rich Waltz, along with Todd Hollinsworth, we've seen a lot of things here in just 2 short games of this series, partner. If it's anything like last night or the night before, strap in.
Hey, I'm expecting it. I mean, the way that this has set itself up, I mean, even with Vance Worley making the start tonight, Cole getting the opportunity, I mean, both these teams are kind of in a weird position. You know, the Nationals have just started their road trip. They're going to Chicago next, but they got to have a starter because of the doubleheader, and we saw all the offense last night. Anything could happen in tonight's ball game. It'll be an exciting one no matter what.
It was Gio Gonzalez that almost no-hit the Marlins in Game 1. Last night, Max Scherzer, 6-0 Nationals. Neck spasm, he's out. Marlins came back, and the big blow was Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah, so good to see. He has been so clutch this season, so consistent in those big moments. It's so fun to watch how under control he is, and it's almost like he slows down just a little bit, lets those hands work, kind of gathers his thoughts, and in fact, before that home run, stepped out and said, give me a second here, let me gather my thoughts, jumps back in, and unloads for a huge 3-run home run.
And you can see the emotion in D. Gordon and Ozuna. And the Marlins came all the way back. They would win the game last night. Now, tonight, as far as starters go, you mentioned A.J. Cole. It's Vance Worley who's on the mound for the Fish.
Right. It's going to be an exciting one. You certainly hope that he takes full opportunity and runs with it, goes out there and has himself a great start. Now, the numbers aren't great, really, for either guy as far as their big league starts here in recent memory. But again, it's an opportunity, and both of these teams are similarly in, well, the exact same position.
Opportunity for Cole as well. His second start in the big leagues this year. What do we expect?
Well, and if his AAA numbers are any indicator, now he does have one start in the big leagues this year. It was a good one against the Philadelphia Phillies, but he's been doing okay at AAA. Now, A.J. Cole is their go-to guy. He is their depth. He is their insurance. He gets the start tonight. You see the numbers, 5.66 ERA in AAA.
Marlins going for a series win here against the first-place Nationals. How about the bullpen last night? Short start for the Fish, but the pen was terrific with a surprise ending. How about a little Brad Ziegler? AMC. Miami and Washington. Winner gets the series. Let's go out to center field. Craig Minervini, Preston Wilson. Guys?
The old rubber game, and if it comes down to the bullpen, I think the Marlins would take that because their pen has definitely outpitched the Nationals in the season series so far.
Yeah, the Marlins pen has been doing very well. The Nationals bullpen, they're kind of retooling out there. They're trying to figure out how to get things going so that it can work for them in the postseason. They've had their work cut out, though. In the last 11 games, that Nationals bullpen, 41 innings. That's a lot of work. That means the National starters are not going out there giving them a good run. On the other side, the Marlins pitching has been doing quite well lately. Tazawa's on a good run. The last 13 and 2/3 for Tazawa, he's only given up 3 runs. Ziegler's coming back. He had a good job last night. First action since June 20th. Last night, great job. Everybody pitched in. Nobody gave up a run. You got an inning from Ellington, 2 from McGowan. Steckenrider gave you 1. Tazawa gave you 1, and Ziegler gave you 1.
I love the 1 walk, too, from 6 innings of work. And, boy, Brad Ziegler was thrown into the fire there. Had not pitched since June 20th.
Yeah, you know, it's something about being healthy. Makes you so much more confident. And you saw it last night. He looked like there was conviction with everything he threw. He threw it. He knew where it wanted to go. It went where he wanted to go. He let his defense play behind him. And once he got that first out, when Yelich ran that ball down in the gap, you could kind of see that weight lifted off him. He's like, okay, we're good now. And he did a great job, got the save.
Yeah, I talked to Brad today. He said, yeah, I felt a little nerves, but it's good to be back in that spot where he had a lot of action last year and had 22 saves for Boston and Arizona in 28 opportunities. All right, we've got that rubber game coming up here. Nationals took game 1 in exciting fashion behind Gio. Marlins came back, quieted Harper and Zim in game 2 of the series. And now we've got game 3, Cole and Worley, the matchup next.
Scherzer left field and deep, and he hit it out. Wow. And that's his first career home run. Max Scherzer and the Nationals raced to a 6-0 lead last night. But with a twist of a neck and a sudden departure, everything changed. Zuna, left field. That ball's deep. That ball's gone. This game is tied. It's Dietrich, center field. That ball's deep. Back goes Goodwin. It's off the wall. Real Muto around third. Miami has the lead. Blast of a triple. Breaking ball, ground ball. Dietrich has it. Cross the diamond, ball game. And Brad Ziegler dusts off the closer's cap and finishes the ball game. That was last night. Gio Gonzalez almost threw a no-hitter in game 1. Vance Worley takes the ball for game 3. Final game 3, game set. Nationals lineup. Johnny B. Baker put pen to paper and came up with this. Brought to you by Southwest. Brian Goodwin's in center. He's been terrific defensively. Howie Kendrick had 5 hits last night. Bryce Harper in the 3 spot. Ryan Zimmerman's at first. Adam Lynn back in there in the 5 spot. Anthony Rendon, dangerous at third base. Wilmer Defoe's having a good year at shortstop. Jose Lobaton does the catching. And A.J. Cole is in the 9 spot. And the first pitch from Vance Worley is down low. This ball game is underway. Worley, 29-year-old out of Sacramento, California.
Making his 6th start of the season. I see a 2-seamer, a 4-seamer, and a cutter. 7.53 ERA in his 5 starts. As I said, start number 6. His last start against the Reds, 3 runs, 4 innings pitched. Was good after giving up those 3 runs. Kept things in check and gave ball club a chance to win.
Zips one in for a strike. Goodwin in center. Last night was in the 8th spot. Led off on Monday night against Jose Urena. And with all the injuries that the Nationals have had, 2 things. It's amazing that they've been able to maintain that huge cushion of 13 games in the East. And I guess it's guys like Goodwin and Lind and others, Howie Kendrick, that have kept them rolling despite losing a lot of big bats. Chopper over the middle. That's where Rojas is playing, and he throws one on over to Tyler Moore for the out. Now you've already met 2 out there on defense. Todd will introduce the rest.
Here's your Marlins defense for tonight's ball game. Behind Vance Worley, Marcell Ozuna back where he always is in left field. Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, Derek Dietrich over at third base. Rojas, Gordon, Tyler Moore back in there. JT Realmuto does the work behind the plate.
Here is Kendrick. And Worley misses in with a fastball. Howie Kendrick, Major League veteran, infielder, longtime second baseman for Mike Scioscia with the Angels. Hopped up, of course, to Los Angeles with the Dodgers. A Philly for a while, and he's made a nice splash since joining the Nationals.
And he really has. 7 for 15 as a Nat. 5 for 5 last night. The second 5-hit game of his career. Oh, by the way, had a 2-run home run last night, too.
Yeah, the home runs came from unlikely sources, didn't they?
They did.
Kendrick doesn't hit a lot of home runs. Max Scherzer had never hit a home run in the big leagues. Worley gets a strike, and the count is 3-1. Howie Kendrick, West Nassau High School in Callahan, Florida. St. John's River Community College. Angels took him in the 10th round. Worley comes back into the count to go 3-2.
That's a good sign right there. Able to find the top of the strike zone. Worley's going to have to move his fastball around to be effective tonight. It's a good Nationals lineup. He scored tons of runs.
Kendrick, 6 for 6 in this series. How about that? Into center field. Florida guy comes home. He's having a good series. Great series.
Keep his bat in the lineup. Dusty Baker saying to himself. Stays on that cut fastball and goes right back through the box. He hasn't shown a hole in his swing here in 6 at bats. Obviously 6 hits, but goes the other way. Pulled his home run to left center field.
Kendrick versatile now. He can play in the outfield. He's at second, giving Daniel Murphy a night off. Here's Harper. Right back at him. Rojas behind the bag. Gets there. Got him at second. Got him at first. Oh, goodness, that was close. Rojas took a look. Figured Gordon might not get there. Decided to take it himself. The question was, would he get to second? Dusty Baker and the Nationals video room looking at it. Miguel Rojas, 6-3. First inning scoreless, Washington and Miami. D. Gordon lined the first pitch foul as he digs in to lead it off for the Fish. Gordon, Stanton, Yelich against a big breaking ball that pops out of the hand of Cole and ends up all the way to the screen.
Let's take a quick look at this great double play. Rojas doubles down. This is a great read. He realizes he's got to make both plays himself. D. Gordon nowhere near the bag, but he takes a little bit of a risk right there, that throw to first base. Harper could have beat that out if it cost him one step, but he didn't and ends up getting two. He doubled down.
A.J. Cole misses in. Miguel Rojas has certainly been a welcome sight coming back from the injury. He's one of those guys where you know he's valuable, but then you lose him for a month or two, like they did with the broken thumb, and then you realize how really valuable he is on a daily basis, especially in the National League. D. Gordon takes it down low in the count 2-1. What you got for A.J. Cole?
A.J. Cole's making his 11th big league start. Yeah, that's right. Let's give you the Auto Nation scouting report. 6'5", 215 pounds, 25 years old, 11th big league start. Now that's come over 3 seasons. A.J. Cole is the Nationals insurance policy. He's got 68 career AAA starts, so he's kind of been the guy. A lot of time down in the farm, waiting for the opportunity at the big league level. He's gotten them over the last 3 seasons. Now you see number 1, command is key. Does not possess overpowering stuff. The fastball 88 to 92, a little bit more run than sink. Curveball's not a bad pitch. Changeup is below average. He's going to give up some hits and some walks tonight, but generally keeps the ball in the yard, and there is clearly a lefty advantage. In those 11 games that he's pitched at the big league level, there is a 100-point difference between the lefties and the righties, and a large part of that is because of the changeup.
Well, he walked the first lefty. That's Gordon. And here is Stanton with Yelich and Ozuna behind him. Jose Lobaton behind the plate, and Gordon is back with a dive. Lobaton has thrown out 20% of the base runners, just 5 of 25 this year. Cole to the plate, gets a strike. Barely a strike. Saw Stanton pause there for a moment. But a good call by Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire. At the knees and on the corner. And just watching him, something I learned from Todd Hollinsworth, that inside lane where Stanton has done so much damage, that's where Cole has maneuvered in his first 2 pitches to him.
Well, he's trying to throw strikes early. Stanton has been, he's been pitched around a little bit here lately. He's been tallying an awful lot of walks. He hasn't seen A.J. Cole all that much. Would be surprised if you see much like D. Gordon, which, again, he walked. You see the discipline and the patience from this Marlins lineup the first time through. See if Cole will throw strikes.
See if Gordon runs with 2 strikes.
I mentioned that start earlier this season for A.J. Cole. It came against the Philadelphia Phillies. Some traffic out there. 6 innings. 6 hits, 4 walks. They gave up 1 earned run, though.
He's increased his lead, has Gordon. Oviedo, Florida. Oviedo High School for Cole. And he committed to pitch at the University of Miami. He was a 4th round draft pick back in 2010. That's down low.
He's been stuck in that, they call it that 4A category here for quite some time. 68 AAA starts over the last 4 seasons. Now he has made 11 big league starts, but it kind of tells you what he's become for the Nationals organization. They have not fully committed to him being a regular starter on the big league staff, yet they still like what he can bring to the table.
Gordon starts and then stops and is kicking himself now, but With the count 3-2, he's probably on the move. Ball in the dirt. Lobaton knocked it down. Watch D.
Now this is always such a fun part of the game to watch. D. Gordon working on his lead, catching the attention of a A.J. Cole on the mound, all the while one of the best home run hitters in the game is in the box, waiting for that mistake.
3-2, Gordon runs. Stanton lines it right center field. That's in the gap. That's to the wall. Here comes Gordon around third. Ball up with it is Harper. Gordon will score, and Miami's off to a 1-0 start. Just how you draw it up.
You want to know why he didn't swing at those first 2 fastball strikes on the inside part of the plate? Because he's looking out over the plate. He's thinking about going the other way. Yeah, that's right. Giancarlo Stanton driving one to right center field. Great approach. Great approach for a 2-hitter. How about it? All the way back to 3-2. Gets an elevated fastball out over the plate. Drives it into the gap. Marlins up 1-0.
Nobody out. Here's Yelich. And Cole misses out. Stanton now has driven in 74. That is 23rd double. And you're right about the walks. He's been ultra patient. 9 walks last 5 games. Yelich, of course, had that great series in Texas. Has cooled off a bit here for this homestand. Of course, the Marlins took 3 of 4 from the Reds and have split with the Nationals.
0 for 4 last night for Yelich, 3 for 23 on the homestand. Now, the last 31 games, he's got a .315 batting average, so it's been a lot of good. A bit of struggles here, though, on the homestand.
Yelich takes down low, and he's in a 3-0 count. You got Ozuna on deck.
These are the kind of at-bats, Rich, that can kind of get you going, get you out of a slump, especially for a left-handed hitter. You've got a very specific job to do. You've got a runner at second base. There's a reward out there as far as just getting your runner over to third base. You want to look to pull the baseball right here. Or a walk.
4-pitch walk. And A.J. Cole is having technical difficulties right now. Mike Maddox is on his way out. Miami's lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You've seen Gordon, you've seen Stanton, you just saw Yelich. How about Marcell Ozuna last night and last 7 games? JT Realmuto in the 5 spot. Derek Dietrich has been swinging it. He's at third, hitting 6. Tyler Moore back at first. Miguel Rojas at short, and Vance Worley hits 9th. The Nationals, of course, had a doubleheader on Sunday, a rainout last Friday, and that necessitated adding a starter for this series. And of course, the hope is that it was just neck spasms and that Max Scherzer is fine to make his next start. Steven Strasburg still on the disabled list.
Scherzer is expected. That was the report that we heard today, that he is expected to make his next start. But you got Gio Gonzalez, who's getting ready to go on paternity leave. So there may be another opportunity for Cole, but you'd also assume that he has to be pretty decent tonight, maybe to earn that next start as well. There's last night's hero. 3 for 4 last night, 2 runs, home run, 3 RBIs.
Such a productive season from start to this point. There really hasn't been a 2-week or any sort of slump for Ozuna. He's been productive. 84 RBIs is second in the National League. Nolan Arenado leads at 95. But he's in just about every category. He's now in the top 6 in home runs with 25. And those are the numbers last season bottom, this season top. Takes in. He's got himself at 2-1.
Well, he is so patient, so relaxed right now. You can almost see it in his eyes. Almost predictably, it gets like this, things are going to happen, much like last night. Hands are a little bit slower, eyes are focused.
That's the consistency we were talking about.
27 RBIs in the month of July. Fantastic month. Remember, you get the All-Star break too, so you got 4 days off right there that aren't part of the tally.
Last pitch was out on Fox Tracks. That's right down the middle. Maybe that call that went against him got into his head, because Cole just fired one right down the middle.
Let's take a look at the Washington Nationals defensively for tonight's ball game. Here they are. Adam Lynn making the start in left field. Goodwin back in center. Harper over in right. Rendon, Defoe, Kendrick, and Zimmerman. Lobaton gets the start behind home plate, along with A.J. Cole on the mound.
JT Realmuto, Giancarlo Stanton at second, Christian Yelich at first. An opportunity to jump on the Nationals right here in the first inning. Stanton's double knocked in D. Gordon, who walked. Realmuto 1 for 6 in the series. You see that OPS at a very healthy 859. Slow bouncer towards short. Defoe going to go to first. That's close. Bang, bang. And Realmuto is out. And the obligatory wait and watch for the super slow-mo. He's out, but not by much.
JT Realmuto always hustling down the line. Puts the pressure on that defense.
Now Dietrich, who blasted a very important triple last night off the center field wall, gave Miami the lead, and of course the Marlins would end up winning the ball game. 7-6 score.
Dietrich got it going in Texas. Brought it on home. He's had an outstanding homestand. 5 for 17. He's hit for power. Couple doubles, triple, homer, 4 RBIs. 9 RBIs over his last 6 games.
Dietrich a little flare to left. Lynn comes in. He's there to make the catch. Miami leaves 2, gets 1, and leaves it 1-0. And Nationals. Now you remember the 90s?
I do.
This is the 90s t-shirt. Rich Waltz, Todd Hollandsworth, and this is a Marcell Ozuna Big Bear 90s themed t-shirt. That's the next T-shirt Friday giveaway on a 90s night. Sunday, August 13th.
Just make one little adjustment. I think I maybe give him a little orange hair like Ozuna's got.
First 7,000 fans will get a 90s themed Big Bear t-shirt, courtesy of Pepsi. And Salt and Peppa after the game, presented by Crystal Pepsi, will be in concert. That's a, you know, 70s is a tough one when you stop and think, all right, what would I wear to 70s night besides big pleated pants and well, maybe an oversized sport coat.
What I do know is this: I'd have to ransack Craig Minervini's closet to find out.
That's
what? What?
That's not right.
Come on, Craig, we're tight. We're tight like that.
No, that's just not right. Look at this guy.
We're brothers.
He's all fired up.
Where else do I find 70s clothes? I was born in the 70s.
Yeah, well, 70s. This 90s though.
Well, right.
What we're looking for. That's strike 3 called. Vance Worley strikes out Ryan Zimmerman. So 90s. Any suggestions for us to wear on 90s throwback? We're all up for that.
We talked about that elevated fastball. You see it there. Effective pitch. Right at the cusp. If he's going to go there, he wants to go there and above. Very good pitch. Top of the strike zone.
Adam Lind. You got Anthony Rendon coming up. Worley got a double play ball from Bryce Harper to end the first. Lind checks his swing. Lind got a start on Monday night. He and the aforementioned Howie Kendrick have been platooning out in left. Kendrick gets a start at second in this ball game. Lind rolls it to first. Tyler Moore is there, steps on the bag. So far so good from Vance Worley. Remember, when you talk about Worley, he was in AAA for the Marlins, but last year he spent the year in Baltimore's bullpen. He did make 4 starts for Buck Showalter, and his ERA in that ballpark and in that division, in that league, was 3.53.
Well, he keeps the ball in the yard, which is always a good thing, and he has done that very, very well this year. Now, at times, he's moved the ball around the strike zone, and that's the key. Vance Worley's not going to overpower you with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. It's not in the arsenal. He throws 3 variations of the fastball: 2-seamer, 4-seamer, and his cutter. What he likes to do is move it around the strike zone. It's as simple as that. He doesn't want to make mistakes out over the plate, and if he catches too much plate, he'll get himself in trouble. So he's got to live on those edges.
Anthony Rendon is trouble. RBI double in the second last night. One of the challenges for him in his career is staying healthy. When healthy, he's not an easy at bat for any pitcher. Last year, 38 doubles, 20 homers. Got 21 homers, 25 doubles. His slugging percentage, .583. And his on base is only .422.
It's only 500 since July 1st. He's getting on twice a day. I mean,
and you look at this.
Amazing. He's had a great year.
The quartet of hitters: Harper, Zimmerman, Rendon, Murphy's getting the night off. But those 4 guys, they appear in the top 10 of a lot of dangerous categories offensively. That's a strike. Rendon comes back.
Borderline strike right there to make it 3-2. But I still believe he's the one that's talked about the least. He's got the 2nd highest OPS on this team, and you see that pitch. It's off the plate. That's where they'll certainly take it here with 2 outs.
Harper and Rendon, 2nd and 5th in OPS. That's strike 3 called. Eric Cooper, that first one was just out. That second one, not sure yet.
presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
The man, the myth, the legend. The disclaimer king there. It earned him a endorsement deal with Nike.
I know I feel a lot safer in the booth tonight with him here with us.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, when he reads the endorsement, he's not only reading the endorsement, he's here to protect the rights of this telecast.
Point exactly.
Tyler Moore, Miguel Rojas, Vance Worley. And Moore fouls it back. Moore was a national. He was one of those guys that never really had a place to play. The Nationals have been thick with talent, especially in the outfield. Worth and Harper, and then a myriad of speedy center fielders. Moore was always kind of the extra guy. Mississippi State product.
Like there was a few chances he might see a few more ABs with the Nationals. Early in his career, Zimmerman made the switch from third to first. Really cut into any opportunity that he might get.
Got to the big leagues in 2012. 75 games there, 63 games. Usually getting in the mid 100s in terms of at-bats on the season. Hit 10 homers that rookie year in 2012. And he strikes out here, and A.J. Cole trying to right himself from a wobbly first inning. Has the first out of the second.
Now that slider starting to take shape for Cole. It's a big pitch for him. It's his best secondary pitch. He's not even thrown. He's not fired that changeup one time. As I said, it's still a bit of a work in progress. This game for Rojas last night. 2 for 4, big triple, RBI.
Impressive to see that he's kept the same approach with the same results that he had before the thumb injury, because sometimes guys get hot, they're on a nice roll, they go onto the DL for a couple months, and it's a whole new process.
They come back, they're a different person. It's a good point.
High pop-up.
As much time as he missed, probably would have been a candidate for that, Rich. But it was as if, at least in my mind, it's almost like the period of time was shorter because he didn't change when he came back. Felt like he only missed a week because right when he's reached base every game since his return. He's been doing exactly what he was doing before the injury and since his return. Very commendable on his part, keeping himself ready.
Swing and a miss at a fastball. And Cole showing why the Nationals are still high on him.
Simplified the process last few hitters. Fastball and slider. Just dialing it up. 95 miles an hour right over the top. I wonder how many times Vance Worley's played 2 days in a row.
Ha! That's right, pinch hitting yesterday.
Sure did.
Maybe back to those McClatchy High School days in Sacramento. Ended up at Long Beach State. That has been a terrific college baseball school for the last 30 years. They've put a lot of great infielders in the game. Went foul back out of play. And the count 0-2. Nationals headed to Chicago with an off day tomorrow. Marlins travel day tomorrow to Atlanta. And Worley swings and misses. And A.J. Cole strikes out the side here in the second. 2 innings in, 1-0 Miami. Check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, Rich, the no question the Nationals have been the class of the National League East for quite a while now, winning 3 of the last 5 division titles. Last 2 years, they have clobbered the NL East, but not the Marlins. The Marlins have been able to hang in there with them. This year, 500. Last year, the Nats went 10-9 against the Marlins. You see the numbers in yellow, just a game over 500. The rest of the NL East, they just clobbered them, nearly 70% baseball for them. And Don Mattingly said, well, we probably match up pretty well considering their great pitching, but somehow we've been able to get some big hits. And obviously we've beaten Scherzer. They can handle Strasburg. He'll have his games against him. Gio, you saw the other night, was great, but they've also put a couple losses in his column. And it's important for his ball club to be able to stack up well with the Nationals. By the way, tonight I'm fashioning my Van Heusen shirt and my Hager slacks tonight.
Craig, don't humor him.
Well,
don't encourage him.
You look good tonight, Craig.
Right.
Well done. That's outstanding.
Because he'll be going after me next.
No, stop.
It's a Hager slack, right? That's a Jay Randolph made those famous.
You are the man. You got nothing to worry about.
Thank you.
A 1-1 pitch to Wilmer Difo. But Craig, if you're still there.
Yes.
Holly and I seriously are perplexed as what to wear for 90s.
Yeah, that's a good
night.
question. Like, how do you dress 90s?
I know.
Right? Parachute pants?
Oh.
Now, how about the Zubas?
I was thinking that Zubas, like early 90s, was that?
That's probably early 90s.
That look, very early 90s. Miami Vice.
Miami Vice, maybe a Fila sweatsuit with a gold chain.
Or is that 80s? Late 80s, maybe. I don't know. That's a good one.
I know it's tough. Rojas over to first. Nice play to get the speedy Wilmer Difo. And how about Vance Worley here in the third? A lot of balls on the ground, and he's got 2 strikeouts and no walks.
It's always a good tell. Vance Worley's on his game. As we talked about, moving the fastball around the strike zone, not falling into patterns, but the ball on the ground means he's having good effect. Good late movement.
This is Lobaton. What if you were to dress as 90s ball players? You wore like the throwback teal and pinstripes. Get the great Gazoo helmet that Conine made famous.
Do that. Or we could just dress like 90-year-olds.
No, that's a different 90s.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm trying to manipulate it.
Our producer John Solster suggested going as an 1890s.
Oh, that's a good idea.
On to first in time. He could probably be a throwback ball player then from the 1890s.
Get a wool uniform, drag it around the field a few times, get some dirt on it.
I am old Haas Rayburn. How about that?
Throw some metal spikes on.
Adam Conley. Is that an R.A. Dickey sighting I saw there on the matchup for Friday night in Atlanta? A.J. Cole takes a rip, fouls it back. Remember, the Friday nights in Atlanta are 7:30 games. I think that's a Friday night Atlanta traffic thing. Roller out to short, Rojas on to first. And both pitchers in a groove right now. Vance Worley has faced the minimum. T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball break going back to last night. How about Evan Longoria? Second franchise cycle, and it took replay review to secure it at the end. Joey Gallo still hitting them. 2 homers, even though the Rangers lost to the Mariners 8-7. And John Lester homered last night, first of his career. Max Scherzer homered last night, first of his career.
Neither one got the win in their game.
Go figure. Lester's neck is okay, though. Scherzer, the indication today is that he will be okay and he'll make his next start, which is certainly good news for the Nationals. They could lean on that guy. He may have a little left in that right arm of his. Mike Maddox. It's a good coaching staff. You've got Chris Spire, who was a terrific major league shortstop. 19 years in the big leagues, a 3-time All-Star. Mike Maddox was 15 years in the big leagues. And then one of my favorite players growing up, Davey Lopes. Davey Lopes stole 557 bases and hit 155 homers. That guy could play. Marlins here, bottom third. Top of the order. Gordon, ground ball. That's into center. And D. Gordon extends his hit streak, his National League leading hit streak, to 13 games.
Good to see. Run twice, on twice tonight. Come around and score the first time. Fastball, stays right on it, drives it back through the middle. Past the diving Depot. Past the outstretched arm. That's the longest streak in the majors currently, 13-game hitting streak by D. Gordon.
Stanton takes in. I don't know that you really find too many places this combination of speed and thunder, right? I mean, you got one of the top base stealers in the game at first, and one of the premier power hitters in the game, and they're 1-2 in the lineup. It's such a contrast to go from Gordon, and then all of a sudden the pitcher looks up, and here's Stanton, who could hit it 490 feet on any swing.
Well, it'll put any starting pitcher, any pitcher at all, on edge. He's got to worry about the speed behind him and the power in front of him.
Fired on a 2-0 pitch, and Cole got in on him. Cole has been pitching him in tonight. Stanton took a pitch that was almost in or half and lined it into right center field to the wall for an RBI double.
These last few ball games where Stanton has been taking, well, I should say almost piling up the walks, his pace and tempo at the plate has been scary. I think he's about ready to bust out again. He is really seeing the ball well. He starts to get some pitches he can handle. It's like he did his first time up. He looks like he's going to do damage. It was so interesting a couple of weeks ago, Rich, to hear him talking about how much he's learned this year, how focused and determined he's been from pitch to pitch as opposed to at bat to at bat.
Cole stays out, and it's 3-1. Gordon runs, Stanton swings and pops it up out into shallow center. Out goes Kendrick, in comes Goodwin. It's Kendrick calling, and Howie Kendrick makes the catch. And Stanton muttering to himself. One out here in the third before Yelich gets comfortable. A reminder that the ballpark pass gets you access to every remaining regular season home game for just $29.99 a month. There's great matchups, giveaways, fireworks, bobbleheads during the last 2 months of the season, and you get each game for less than $3 a game. For more information, download the MLB.com ballpark app. Go to marlins.com/pass today. Time was called, whether it was Yelich, I think it was, or Lobaton. You could hear it coming from that home plate area.
It's pretty emphatic. Home plate umpire Eric Cooper. He got tied into the throw over to first base. Anything that happened over there, there would be no play.
I can't remember the player, but it was years ago, who was literally picked off first base, and his first instinct was to turn to the umpire and call timeout.
I do remember seeing that. It's been a while. It's a good memory.
Yes. Look, I was an impressionable youth.
Right. I remember seeing that. Good try.
Low.
Good try.
That didn't work. After he was tagged out, then the umpire awarded him timeout.
Well, he had a good, probably a good 20-minute timeout. You never know. He got back to the dugout. He might have been put in timeout by his manager.
Chance of that. Yelich walked back in the first. Gordon increases his lead. Not running. And Cole misses outside. Cole was wild to start. Walked 2 in the first. But since then, he has struck out 4 and walked nobody.
He almost lined it up with the visit from Mike Maddox out to the mound. All pitching coaches wish they could work their charm like he did, but since the visit from Maddox, Cole has been a different pitcher, locked in.
Gordon runs. Yelich swings and misses. Lobaton's throw is late. And D. Gordon has number 39 on the season.
Good jump, good break. Nice line into second base. Always want to get to the outside part of the bag. Buy yourself an extra a few inches on the tag. See, he easily slides in. Runner in scoring position for the Marlins. Trey Turner, he is now 4 past him. Trey Turner's in the building now, taking ground balls to get himself ready for the end of the season. His comeback.
2-2 to Yelich. And it's in. Full count now, 3-2. Ozuna on deck. A run on 2 hits for Miami. Nationals have just 1 hit. Remember, Miami left 2 on back in the first. And Yelich has to dance out of the way. He's walked twice, and this gives Ozuna another shot at A.J. Cole.
The 2 lefties at the top have been on all 4 times. 2 walks for Yelich. Walk and a knock for D. Gordon. A.J. Cole really nowhere near the plate. Very interesting first at bat for Marcell Ozuna, who's going to get locked in here.
Remember, Ozuna took a pitch that was just out, and it was a called strike, and then ended up taking a pitch that was right in the strike zone for strike 3. You got great speed out there. Gordon at second, Yelich the trail runner at first, and he's not being held. Gordon not going anywhere.
Started him off with a slider after putting him away with 2 fastballs his first time up.
That pitch out. And a ball and a strike. Remember, the Marlins had a winning road trip in Cincinnati and in Texas. And they've guaranteed themselves a winning homestand here. But Don Mattingly certainly would like it to be a really nice homestand. Win this series after taking 3 of 4 from the Reds. Ozuna left field, got under it. Lind has it, Gordon tagging, and the throw is cut. Everybody retreats. And up comes Real Muto.
Consecutive sliders from Cole. Marcell Ozuna just missed it. Opportunity for JT Real Muto here with 2 outs.
JT bounced to short. And this is similar to that first inning. Miami had first and second and nobody out after scoring a run. Didn't get the runners home at all. JT takes down low. Here first and second, 1 out. Now first and second, 2 outs.
Great stuff from JT Real Muto all season long. 344 runners in scoring position. As a catcher, leads all major league catchers in hits and average. 102 for hits, 316 batting average. Great stuff all season.
JT pops it up. Coming back is Lobaton. He's got room, and he makes a basket catch right at the screen. Miami leads 2 more. Leads this game 1-0. Scoring here tonight. We were talking about the 90s, and we thought, well, maybe we could go 1890s. So we did. Charles Old Hoss Radbourn. Which of these is false? Pitched 678 2/3 innings in '84. Lost an eye in a hunting accident. His namesake, Charlie Horse, is named for him. I got you. So Charlie Horse is named for him. Started and won all 3 games of the '84 World Series, and once struck out 5 players in 1 inning. One of those is false.
I've got my answer.
I'm going with the Charlie Horse.
Oh, stop it. That's where I was going.
Are you? All right, I'll
we're
go
both,
I.
No, we can go both Charlie Horse.
No, you go Charlie Horse. I'll go. I don't think he lost an eye in a, what was it?
I don't, you want to look at that picture again? I'm pretty sure he did.
A kiln explosion. What was the?
That right eye didn't look so good in the picture.
The industrial accident that he.
Yeah, look at that right eye.
Oh, hunting accident. Yeah, you're right. Can I? After looking at that photo carefully,
you can go to Charlie Horse. Go. You're good. That's kind of why I went there. Was like that eye. That's where they want you to go. But then I looked at the picture and I'm like, I'm on to them. I'm going Charlie Horse.
Brian Goodwin's at the plate. Here's the 2-1 from Worley. And a check swing. He did not go. The count is 3-1. Worley threw the first 9 hitters. A slew of ground ball outs. He's got 7 of them. This one finds the outfield though. And a leadoff hit by Brian Goodwin. All right, let's pay it off. 1890s, Old Hoss Radbourn. He was also very good and active on Twitter.
Wow.
So he never struck out 5 players in 1 inning.
You knew that?
The rest are all true. So they named the Charlie Horse after him. He had cramps in his legs.
And he lost an eye in a hunting accident.
He probably had cramps from pitching 678 innings in '84. He did win 59 games in '84. That was back before they discovered the ulnar collateral ligament. That was discovered later in I think the 60s or the 70s.
I'm just glad I was onto the eye. I'm telling you, that picture. I feel half right.
Howie Kendrick, the Marlins just can't get out. 5 for 5 in last night's ball game. 2-run homer in the second, and he opened his game tonight with a single in the first. Goodwin, healthy lead. Worley to the plate, and Kendrick bails out. Fastball high and tight.
As hot as Kendrick is squaring around. It's just about everybody here at Marlins Park. Would not have anticipated that right there.
Bouncer back to Worley. Could be two. Uh-oh. Gordon, did he get the bag? Throws it. Safe at first. What a move. Wow. By D. Gordon on a high throw with Rojas at the bag as well. D had to catch it, and he had to come down and somehow get the bag.
Wow, this is basketball player all over. Advance Worley, high throw to second. Look at this, and gets a throw off. Are you kidding me? I'll tell you, it has been a treat the last couple of days to watch these two at it. Rojas and both Gordon. What a play. To go high and come down is one thing, but to come down after going way up to get that and get a throw off after one step is some kind of athleticism.
Bryce Harper now bounced into a double play. He hit the ball hard up the middle, and Rojas made a sprint for the bag, and in one move went for the bag with that left foot and fired to first. Ball and a strike.
Marlins have done a very nice job containing Harper. 2 for 9 in the series, only a couple of singles, 1 for 5 last night. Or 250 on the season.
Count 1-2.
That really has been the game plan for Marlins pitchers against Harper. At his hands or above. Really challenge him to work. Get on top of something. Able to pick up a couple of singles. Had a base hit to left in game 1. In fact, the only RBI in that game. Rolled one through the right side, but they have been pitching him effectively above the hands.
That's a fair ball out there. Fires to second. Run down here. Rojas after Kendrick tags him out. Uh-oh. Rojas, after tagging the runner, doubled over in pain and now is shaking that left hand. Hopefully it's just a bit of a stinger. Marlins get a double play and lead this ball game 1-0. In the box, Derek Dietrich. A.J. Cole delivers up. And Miguel Rojas still wincing a bit. That left glove hand on the tag. Dietrich high pop-up. And that's Defoe who makes the catch. All right, let's take a look at the tag and see if we see anything.
Here's what you know. Rojas wouldn't tag him that way if in fact he thought he was going to trigger a, we'll call it a nerve reaction or something that definitely is putting him into a great deal of pain. You watch this face right there, well, he kind of hides it. He's in a lot of pain. But it's not something that he's playing with. I don't know what triggered it, but as I said, if he thought he was going to set it off, if it's a pinched nerve in his thumb or even in his hand or wrist, he probably would have applied the tag with both hands and probably been a little bit more ginger with it. He's on deck, so we'll find out.
Tyler Moore. This is the part of the lineup where A.J. Cole really started to roll. He struck out the side in the second, getting Moore and Rojas. That's a mile high. Lobaton out in front of the plate. Cole walks right by him and takes it. You don't see that every day. Do you?
No. No, not the pitcher calling off the catcher. Or using his height. That's ultimately what it becomes. I'm taller than you. That's unusual. That's the one where you laugh it off in the clubhouse after the game. You say to yourself, yeah, what were you doing on that play? Let's not let that happen again, but you caught the baseball. And that's the end of the conversation. But you're right. It's kind of a different one.
He really didn't call it until he walked right by Lobaton, who I think was a bit surprised to see him. Now, this will be an interesting at-bat to see how much that hand is bothering Rojas. He swings and misses. Counts 0-1.
I think he's got a little trigger in there that's causing him a great deal of pain, and when his hand is, well, it's extended in a particular way, it kind of sets that nerve off. Had something very similar happen early in my career after I had broken a bone in my hand, and I had a nerve in my wrist when I was coming back on my rehabilitation assignment. It didn't stop me from playing, but when I would take a type of swing down and in, I seemed to set it off every time, but as soon as I let it cool down, after a few minutes it would go away. Everything felt like normal again. And I think he's experiencing something like that.
Well, there's an answer. He drills it into right center field. Rojas around first. It's bobbled, and he's going to take second. Goodwin and Harper. It was Goodwin who tried to field it. And that'll give Vance Worley a chance to knock in a run.
A great piece of hitting. Elevated fastball at the letters, stays inside. How many times with 2 strikes? Miguel Rojas, you see him going the other way. Nice compact swing. Drives it over Howie Kendrick's head, takes the extra base.
So it should be a single and an error on the center fielder Goodwin. And now Worley, who struck out back in the second, but he can hit a little. Marlins have used him as a pinch hitter. And Cole will step off.
Vance loves to pull the baseball. Let's see if he can get something he can handle.
Outfield fairly deep in left is Lynn. Shallow in right is Harper. Of course, Harper's got the great arm. Goodwin has a good arm in center field. Showed that the other night with a throw to the plate that almost got Real Muto. Worley plays with those prescription sports glasses or goggles, if you will. Little tapper. Cole on first in time. Miami leaves another runner. 1-0. Is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Magic City. Look at that sunset.
Beautiful.
Great colors coming out at night in this gorgeous downtown. Vance Worley against Ryan Zimmerman, Adam Lind, Anthony Rendon. Worley's been terrific tonight. Keeps piling up the ground ball outs. 10 of them, including a couple of double plays.
48 pitches, 28 strikes. Pitched early on. Fall into those patterns. He has not. Hey, this series alone, Marlins pitching has been outstanding against the two key guys in the middle of this Nationals lineup. Harper has been shut down. Other than that, we'll call it a big hit in game one. It was the only run of the ball game, but other than that, a base hit last night. Nothing else. Zimmerman is 0 for the series.
Oh, and 2 to Zimmerman. He made the last out last night. Brad Ziegler got the first 2 outs in the ninth, gave up a couple of singles. And then Zimmerman bounced to Derek Dietrich. Worley stays down. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Worley's misses tonight have been effective. Other than that last slider, you see a little little frustration on his face. He bounced it so far out in front, it's not a swing and a miss pitch. That's what I mean when I talk pitches that have purpose, even deliberately missing the strike zone, you still want to be close. Worley's been very good at that tonight.
That's strike 3 called. Zimmerman didn't argue at all. And he is punched out looking twice. Let's do some Geico. Oh, this was a great finish against the Cubs. This was Dan Uggla in 2009. That tied the game. And Cody Ross ended it. As my partner Tommy Hutton said, back-to-back jacks. It was quite a season. A lot of home runs that season. Adam Lind at the plate. Lind is bounced out. McClatchy High School in Sacramento. Larry Boa, Nick Johnson. Alma mater for those guys.
Well, he is a weapon that Dusty Baker likes to use often. Whether it's off the bench as a pinch hitter, he's been successful as a starter. 33 starts, 26 RBIs, hitting above 300.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Adam Conley goes on Friday night in Atlanta. And remember, the start time for that Friday night game is a 7:30 start. So Marlins Live starts at 7. Jeff Nelson joins Craig Minervini. Jessica will be on the trip. She'll visit with Don Mattingly that night. Bouncer over the middle. Gordon backhands. Fires to first. Nice play. That's 11 ground ball outs.
That's a beautiful play again by D. Gordon. People really realize how tough a play that was. Not only having to go to the backhand because of the overshift, but having to beat the baseball to the lip of the grass. Watch this. See, he's got to get that ball before it leaves the dirt and gets to the grass. It was lining itself up with the cut. Nice job right there and catching it in the air before it went back down again.
Anthony Rendon was called out on strikes. In the air, Yelich charging, diving, catching! Christian Yelich! Whoa! He really had to extend. A lot of white showing from the glove, but Yelich on the run holds on. Cardinals. Bang Bang Catch of the Game brought to you by Bonefish Grill.
Oh, great stuff from Christian Yelich. You see the lean right there? That's how you buy yourself an extra step as an outfielder, an extra few inches. That upper body starts to shift over the hips. You start leaning in and get down. How should you get underneath it?
D. Gordon, right field. That ball's hit well. Back goes Harper. Looks up. Bounces off the wall. Gordon's headed for 3. Around second. He's there easily. A leadoff triple opens the bottom of the 5th. Man, was he flying.
D. Gordon igniting this Marlins offense tonight. It's 1-0. Right now, he's been on base all 3 times. Backup slider, first pitch. Hits it out in front, pulls it to right. Bryce Harper chased it all the way to the wall. D's got the Jets on all the way.
Bench is very happy to see him arrive there. Now Stanton, infield shifted and deep. There's nobody out. Stanton trying to drive in this run. A.J. Cole gets a strike. Anything past the mound up the middle will knock in this run. Rendon is backed up at 3rd as well. Stanton doubled in the gap right center and then popped out his last time up. Lobaton wants in. Cole misses down. Vance Worley has been terrific tonight, shutting out the Nationals on just 2 hits through 5. Marlins have had opportunities for more, and they've got another one here with Gordon at 3rd and Stanton at the plate.
Cole steps off, rethinking this 1-1 pitch. Try and go away from Stanton. How dangerous he can be. He gets his arms extended.
Two and 1. That's a strike. And that evens the count at 2 and 2. Cooper and Stanton in discussion right now. That was a strike. Right on the edge. That one runs out. Count full now, 3 and 2.
I'll tell you what, Lobaton's done a pretty nice job with Cole tonight. Really trying to keep him in his lanes. Lobaton, you saw a little extra enthusiasm as he got behind home plate. Really wanted to get that pitch away. Cole didn't miss by much.
Everything's been in except that last pitch, and he's in again. 3-2. Oh, that drifted. That drifted right out over the plate.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, Cole has a little more leeway. Any hitters in a vulnerable spot, as they have to defend the strike zone differently with 2 strikes. It's a 3-1 pitch right there. That might have been a different result.
3 and 2 again. D. Gordon 90 feet away. Infield back. And he chases. And so Cole wins this battle. Stanton goes down. And up comes Yelich.
Cole plays the back and forth game with Stanton. Comes out on top with a slider low and away. This one ends up down out of the zone, but Stanton has done such a very nice job the last month or so, really laying off that pitch, unable to this time.
Now the infield comes in for Yelich. Christian has seen the ball well tonight. He's walked twice.
Very disciplined at bats from Yelich. Cole's tried to get him to expand on the inside part of the plate. He has not done that yet. Two lefties at the top of the lineup so far tonight. Perfect on base all 5 times.
That liner screams over the head of Adrian Johnson, the third base umpire. Ball and a strike. Gordon still at third, and the infield is still in.
Real good take right there by Yelich. Back into a good hitter's count. It's a tough slider to lay off of sometimes.
See, the major league average in this spot is 50%. Yelich 75% has been able to deliver the run. Yelich, right center field. That'll do it. Good one going back. He's at the wall, and it is gone. 2-run shot. Yeah, that'll do it. 3-0 Miami.
Continuing to talk about the production of the lefties at the top. Now 6 for 6 getting on base. Christian Yelich after laying off a tough slider. It's a fastball to his liking. High arcing home run to straightaway center field. Beautiful swing, head down. Good rotation. Great result.
Marcell Ozuna now, and the lead is now 3-0. Ozuna has struck out and flied out. 402 feet for Yelich, an exit velocity of 108. Number 13 for Yelich. Of course, remember at the end of last year, during the course of last year, Brendan Tobin of 790 The Ticket said he would eat crow if Yelich hit 20 home runs or more, and he literally had to eat a crow, or at least part of a crow. I don't know that anyone's going to make that bet this year, but Yelich sits now at 13.
Is that legal?
What? I'm sure
you don't know how to answer that question, do you?
I'm sure it's legal.
You know what I mean. I mean, that could not have been pleasant.
Look, and to Tobin's credit,
right?
They made a really nice show of it. Yelich was there, and he did. They had the crow well prepared too. I don't know if they had like a gourmet chef pull out his best.
Barbecue it, grill it, broil it. I mean, how'd that go? I'm not even sure how to ask that.
JT Real Muto coming up. Real Muto is bounced out, popped out. AJ Cole is 83 pitches into this thing. He's got Ozuna at first. Rocketed down the line. So, by the way, the Gordon triple happened so fast I was unable to finish the Bonefish Grill read. We don't want to short our friends at Bonefish Grill. For great fish, great cocktails, great times, head to Bonefish Grill. We're supposed to say that out of that Yelich catch, and just as we went from that replay, Gordon fired on that pitch and drilled it off the wall. Real Muto, a chopper to short. Defoe got one there, no chance at first. So JT survives at first.
You're right about that. Chance to pay that off. Great catch by Yelich and big 2-run homer, bottom of the inning. Let's take a look, one more look at it. It's a great catch. Nice route, very linear, no wasted movement. It's always fun to watch an outfielder buy himself space. He knows he's not going to be able to catch that over his head. A good inning for Yelich.
Yeah, he's having a good inning.
Sure is.
We even got the Crow story in. Dietrich's flied out, popped out. Nationals rotation in a little bit of flux here. Dusty Baker indicating he doesn't expect Strasburg off the DL this coming weekend in Chicago against the Cubs, which could mean the Marlins may see him when they're in DC for 4 games starting Monday. Runner goes. Dietrich fires one up in the upper reaches. That's not easy to do, to pull a ball up that high and that extreme an angle.
Yeah, that's inside the first base bag in the upper deck. That's not easy to do.
Oh, look, our headline writers are at it again, and it will be our first chance to see Freddie Freeman at third base.
Well, this just in. Brandon Phillips started at third base tonight for the first time in his career.
That one fouled off. Did Matt Adams get the night off? Did Freddie Freeman get the night off?
Not privy to that information. I'll continue. Previously, just one professional game at third base for Brandon Phillips. That was when he was in the minor leagues 16 years ago, Double-A. So first start, I don't know the answer. Freeman was at first base, I've been notified.
That's the Braves and the Dodgers. Cody Bellinger's hit a long home run in that one. That's not easy to do. I mean, these are two extreme swings. Dietrich just fouled the ball. It almost looked like it went between his legs or wrapped around his hip. But for a left-handed hitter to hit a foul ball directly behind him like this, watch where this ball goes.
Slider low and in. It did. That went between his legs.
That's not easy to do.
I don't know which is harder, but both are very difficult to pull off.
Derek Dietrich, deep to right, upper tank, 2-run shot. That's not easy to do. 5-0 Miami.
I was wondering when the other lefty was going to jump in. Slugging percentage awfully high on this homestand. Get a little higher after a couple of odd foul balls. Derek Dietrich keeps it straight. The Marlins up 5-0 with an upper deck home run. Almost identical pitch. Christian Yelich turned around. Nice job pulling the knob of the bat through and cutting it off. Didn't get around it that time and drive it way out.
So Miami a 5-0 lead. A couple of 2-run homers from the lefty bats after a triple from another lefty. That's the theme that Todd Hollinsworth was on early in this matchup. Tyler Moore's 0 for 2. Dietrich into that home run porch. And there's the Nationals bullpen. A little bit of stretching, maybe some Pilates, and that's all that's going on. And Cole right now is approaching 100 pitches. Dusty Baker had to go to his bullpen obviously early last night. 1 inning of Max Scherzer. He did get Brandon Kintzler here tonight. The trading deadline deal for the Nationals. All-star closer. And so Kintzler is here. There is an off day tomorrow for both of these teams.
Just getting back to Dietrich for a second. 6 hits on the homestand. All have gone, 5 of the 6 have gone for extra base hits. So that slugging percentage really starting to climb.
Moore rolls one over to Defoe, and he fires to first in time. First, it was Christian Yelich. That's a 2-run shot. And then Derek Dietrich, 2 more. It's 5-0. Here, Marlins Park. We check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, with Jeff Conine here and a big event coming up on Monday night. Are you going to? This is when you know you made it with your poker tournament for charity. Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital. You're going to Hard Rock this year.
Yeah, Hard Rock, a big venue this year, 6th annual. I can't believe it's been 6 years already, but we're looking forward to a big night. Raise a lot of money for the Children's Hospital.
Let's put the details out there after the pitch. The Conine tournament, 6th annual at ConinePokerClassic.org. There are some spots available. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we got a new venue this year. The Hard Rock is putting out and laying out the red carpet. They got a brand new, beautiful big poker room there, and 37 tables, so that means 370 players. We've maxed out, I think, at 240 before, so we got plenty of room. Come that day, there's same-day registration, but reserve your spot online is the best way to do it.
ConinePokerClassic.org. Vance Worley here. A nice play on Defoe. What about the grand prize? And there's a lot of prizes. You get to the final, I think, what is it, 20 or 10?
Well, you get $10,000 for the first prize. You get $5,000 in cash and an entry into their big $10 million tournament coming up next month, I believe it is. So $37,000 in total prize money and prizes, great silent auction items, a VIP reception at their Japanese restaurant Kuro beforehand. So fun night.
How about celebs coming? Anybody you could tell us is going to be there?
Secret, but I'm the only one you need to know about.
Conine will be there, but usually we see the football guys, occasionally the basketball guys, even in hockey. We've seen Randy Moeller out there before as well.
Randy Moeller's a stalwart. He's there every year.
Okay, it's going to be fun. That's Monday night. That's August 7th. I'll stop by after our post-game show. Maybe I can get into the final table. Rosie Ruiz, yeah.
Everything's got a price, Craig.
Okay. Back to you guys.
Yeah.
See you at the poker tournament.
You're going to have to make a nice donation, Craig, to get a seat that
Okay.
late.
Craig's implying that he's going to jump to the final table.
Well, you know. Rosie Ruiz, remember her?
Yes.
Tell everybody, Rich, who the great Rosie.
Was it the Boston Marathon?
Yeah.
She took a cab to
Yeah, she got
about
in there
a mile
late
to the finish line, hopped out.
and won shockingly, didn't she?
Yes. Here's the 2-1. And Worley misses outside. We will be in Washington, D.C. that night. So we'll have to maybe do a Skype or some sort of live updates with Jeff that night. Monday, August 7th, Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. Couple of hops for D. Gordon, and the ground balls just keep coming right now for Vance Worley. He's got 13 ground ball outs, and that ties his career high. He's got 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
Rich, I mean, as big as the ground ball outs have been, the efficiency has been amazing.
Now this is efficiency. Burger, beer, and ticket to a Marlins game Friday night. Tickets start at just $30. You get a juicy hamburger, craft beer, and a game ticket. Marlins.com/burger. That's where you're headed.
Vance Worley is at 69 pitches, 1 out to go here in the 6th.
That Friday night game is against the Colorado Rockies. Marlins have not seen the Rockies except for in highlight form.
Well, Andrew Stevenson steps in. He's going to do it for Cole's night.
Marlins have seen Stevenson in all 3 games.
Times tonight. He's needed to get back into account. He's elevated his cut fastball to the top of the zone. He's been able to get swinging strikes and foul balls. He's even reached back and touched 93, 94 a few times tonight.
Stevenson out of LSU, one of the top defensive center fielders in the nation, and a terrific hitter. First team all SEC, 2nd round 2015. That one's fouled off. So he didn't spend a lot of time in the minor leagues, Stevenson. Just a half season in 15, all of last year, single A and some double A. And here he is in the big leagues. D. Gordon flips over, 14 ground ball outs for Vance Worley. 14 of his 18 outs have been on the ground. It's 5-0 Miami. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep. By Hankook Tires, chase down your passion, never halfway. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. "5-0 Miami, a gem of a night for Vance Worley. Marlins have knocked A.J. Cole out of the ball game. And yet another lefty comes out of the pen. This one is Enny Romero.
He's got a big arm, big fastball. 3.66 ERA on the season.
Worley is on deck. He sits comfortably at 76 pitches. Miguel Rojas leads it off. Change up at 88 for a strike. Rojas singled in the 4th. Shows no ill effects of that tag and apparent pain he had in either the left hand or the left wrist.
He turned around, stayed on 94 miles an hour, that at bat. Got me to thinking, Rojas has been so good this year down in the count. We looked it up. Now, this is great work from a number 8 hitter. So in 0-2 counts this year, he's 6 for 13 with 462 batting average.
On an 0-2 pitch.
On an 0-2 pitch.
Or when he gets into an 0-2 count. So is that the rest of the at bat or just on that pitch?
On that pitch, in that count, 0-2.
It's pretty impressive.
Well, it is. But what it does is it explains the success in a lot of ways he's been able to have this year because he trusts himself. He doesn't fear, as most hitters genuinely typically do. 0-2, 1-2, you get a little nervous, you expand your strike zone. He's been really, really good in tough counts.
I think it was the start of Rojas's year. Obviously, Riddle arriving and his play factored in this as well. But I think the year that Rojas was having, in concert with Riddle, allowed the Marlins to trade Echeverria to the Rays. I don't think if Riddle shows up and Rojas isn't playing this way, I don't know that Miami makes that trade. Pitch is outside.
I agree with that. I really do. But as a player, you feel the vote of confidence from your organization, from your front office, that you're the guy. They're willing to invest playing time in you. And Rojas, he's made it well worth their investment. Good to see Vance Worley still in this baseball game. He's got a situation where he can bunt. I always like to see him swing the bat, but definitely up 5-0. Probably look to move Rojas along.
Well, you're facing the Nationals. They are capable of putting up big numbers in a hurry, and your pitcher's up. Pitch is up. Danny Echeverria, by the way, is hitting .255 with a homer for the Rays. Long look down to Freddie Gonzalez. So A.J. Cole went 5 innings and is charged with the 5 runs, 6 hits. Worley can't get the bunt down. That's about all that's gone wrong for him tonight. Here comes Gordon.
It's kind of what I was getting at. I certainly didn't want to speak it into being, but better swinger.
Billy the Marlins' birthday, Sunday, August 13th. That was an old birthday shot. We are mixing it up. We're going old school, Billy. Go back to that shot. Can we go back to that shot? How many mascots? Oh, look, that scene with Ric Flair. But how many mascots end up in a hot tub with a hot babe in the middle of a ball game. Any mascots in baseball that you know of?
Only the old ones.
That's how cool Billy is, right? Philly fanatic? Nope.
What birthday is this?
25.
25? That's a classic 25-year-old for you.
Come to think of it, that hot tub shot, he was underage. That's a balk. Gary Cederstrom called it at first base. Ryan Zimmerman goes to the mound and get the kids.
Let's see what we see.
Tell them they can see a balk.
Upset.
Well, there were multiple umpires that called it. So
I don't see it. Looked like you stepped over, but you don't have the perfect angle. Certainly don't have the angle of first base umpire.
Rojas has a running lead, and Gordon rifles one into center field. And that will be run number 6. D. Gordon's been on base 4 times tonight. He's 3 for 3 with a walk. His hit streak now sits at 13 games. Watch the jump by Rojas.
He scores easily. They had third base stolen. D. Gordon swinging the bat perfectly tonight. That's right. So far, 3 for 3. Base hits and a triple. 1 RBI single.
Florida Lottery in-game jackpots. D. Gordon, in terms of hits in the National League, has climbed up ahead of Marcell Ozuna. In the 4 spot, Arenado, Inciarte, whom the Marlins will see this weekend, and Charlie Blackmon. Stanton tonight 1 for 3, RBI double to the wall in right center. Look out up there. Ooh. I mean, look out. Woo.
It's a heat seeker.
Bring your gloves, and if you've got a glove, use it, please.
It's off the railing. It gets all the way into the corner, back on the field. Everybody tracking the bounce.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Lobaton once up and in. And he got it there, but he missed.
Live arm from Romero. 96 to 98 miles an hour on that fastball. Some tailing action, 2-seam action away.
That was Lobaton who called timeout. He's back in. Runner goes, swinging a foul tip, and Gordon has a stolen base. It's a strikeout for Stanton.
Second stolen base of the game for D. Gordon.
Here's Yelich now. Second time Gordon has been at 40 or better. This is his 3rd season with the Fish. Nationals trainer is on the mound. Enny Romero getting some attention. Dusty Baker is on his way out. That was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. So
he just told the trainer I could pitch. I saw him so many words say just that. I don't know what they're checking on. Body language is a lot different to the body language that he just gave his trainer. He's gonna take the ball out of his hands. That's enough. He's mad.
Dusty Baker wasn't convinced. Enny Romero is coming out. So the Nationals will have as long as they need to warm up the next pitcher. Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. And Romero heads to the locker room to get some medical attention. Dusty and Mike Maddox await reliever X. We'll fill in that blank when we return. Call to the bullpen brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Get a $6 value for $5 when you ask for the grouper from the Florida Lottery. So many life-changing prizes. Get your group ready. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
Looked a little 1990s-ish.
It did. I think the theme there is if you win the lottery, you can form your own band and do your own thing, and you don't need to sell a record. You just keep picking up that check. That's the maybe that name. The name of that group I think is Winfinity actually. Toyota Inside Look brought to you by the all-new RAV4. Craig pointed this out the other night and then again today reinforced it. Marlins and the Nationals have been virtually dead even the last two seasons. And they're 4-4 on this year with a 4-game series starting Monday in D.C. Dusty Baker went down to the clubhouse to check on Romero. Mike Maddox in on that conversation. And so the Marlins will see a guy that they saw and hit yesterday, and that's Matt Albers. Albers, the burly right-hander.
Had a very good season for the Nationals. Not a very good night last night, though. 2/3 of an inning. Knocked around a little bit. Surrendered the home run to Marcell Ozuna.
So it's Yelich who gets the at-bat here. You got Gordon at second. If you're just happening by this ballgame, this was kind of a mystery start, right? I mean, you had Vance Worley, who lasted Just 4 innings his last start against the Reds. You had A.J. Cole coming up, making somewhat of an emergency start for the Nationals. Worley has been just terrific in this ball game. 14 ground ball outs out of his 18 outs recorded. And he has shut the door on a really good offensive team. In fact, the best offensive team statistically in the National League. Here's a look at Vance. And the Marlins knock Cole around. Here is Yelich. And this was his at-bat against Cole in the 5th.
Now, we talked about maybe the left-handed bats having some favoritism. Cole, a 2-pitch guy with no changeup. The fastball there. Yelich perfect against him, as all the left-handed batters. Only a couple of outs. Dietrich made a couple outs. 4 for 6, a triple, 2 homers, 3 walks. D. Gordon, Christian Yelich, Derek Dietrich versus Cole tonight.
Yeah, Yelich has 2 of those walks, and of course the 2-run homer. 13 homers on the season. He's driven in 77. Gordon in scoring position with 2 outs. And Matt Albers misses on his first pitch. And you saw in that note with the numbers on Vance Worley, his pitch count, and a really nice 76.
As impressive as the ground ball outs have been, the efficiency, I mean, almost trying to peg Vance for a long, lengthy start tonight was difficult to do just based on his track record this season. He's in great shape for an inning or 2 if he doesn't get himself in any trouble.
Yelich bangs one in the gap left center. Gordon scores easily. Christian around first, not stopping, heading to second, and he gets there with a double. Well, Yelich back to life here tonight.
Now, this Marlins offense has not had issues with the hot hand of Matt Albers, who came in with just great numbers out of the bullpen last night and now tonight. 2-seam fastball, that tailing action. Had a little more sinking action. Marlins hitters are not having a hard time elevating Albers. Christian caught a break right there. They cut the throw back in. As soon as it was cut, allowed him an extra 2 steps into second base. Certainly take the double and the RBI.
Of course, it was Marcell Ozuna who faced Matt Albers. First guy to face him in the 5th last night. And that's when Ozuna unloaded the 3-run shot. Albers tried to come in with a 2-seamer. Watch where this pitch is.
Oh, I love it. What I love so much about this is the rotation. He's got fast hands, but here's the thing. When you have fast hands, you got to have fast hips. Marcell Ozuna does just that. Great rotation. Hold the knob, bat through the zone. Oh, it's a good 2-3 inches inside.
Into the bat. Zimmerman there collects it, gets the out, but Miami adds on with 2 here in the bottom of the 6th. Vance Worley goes back to work. 2-hit shutout so far. Marlins and Nationals for a Wednesday showdown driven by GMC. Rich Waltz, Todd Hollinsworth, Craig Minervini. Preston Wilson will join us for Marlins Live postgame. 7th inning arrives here. Vance Worley tonight is a repertoire.
Look at that. Now you notice that the darker shade and the orange shade are both fastballs. So we're talking about 91% tonight. Sort of an occasional changeup in there, but that was only early in this ball game. 91% between the sinker and that cutter. Fantastic job moving it around the strike zone.
Brian Goodwin, top of the order. Worley's given up 2 hits, and he's erased both of them on double plays. Harlan Garcia in Miami's bullpen.
Well, with the 2 double plays, he's faced the minimum.
14 ground ball outs. Goodwin had a hit back in the 4th, and he bounced to short. In that Atlanta series, we told you that Adam Conley gets the ball in game 1. Dan Straley on Saturday, Jose Urena on Sunday. Look out. 2-2. Braves rotation for that series is somewhat unsettled. So R.A. Dickey had his name pop up. Mike Foltynewicz in game 2. Another ground ball out. Worley's got 15 of those. Lucas Sims is a possibility on Sunday. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, is there a better name in sports than Mercury Morris? How are you? First time here on the grounds of the old Orange Bowl. Emotional?
You know what? It's the ghost of touchdowns past. And a few fumbles, too.
You had a lot of touchdowns. Who gave you the name Mercury?
A sports writer in Amarillo, Texas. They first likened my style of running as mercurial, like the mercury in a thermometer.
Yeah.
But then Life magazine came down in 1968, and they put the wings on the helmet and the wings on the shoes, and it forevermore became Mercury Morris.
Mercury, you are one of the most exciting running backs to watch. Obviously won 2 Super Bowls with the Dolphins, and many of those great moments right here on the grounds of the Orange Bowl. And when you're coming in here tonight, you got to be reliving some of those moments.
Oh, of course, because you know what? In the mind, everything is stored. So there's nothing. Now, there's some things I can't find, but everything is stored, and just the richness of the history, even looking at this baseball game, knowing full well that time is a collapsible item. Like, this is now, but so was that then, when this was the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
And it's just a great moment to see that this is all gone by the boards, but we're still the same.
You look great. How you feel? This is hard to believe. Did I see you're 70?
70.
Mercury Morris is 70. How is that possible?
I used to say I'm too young for Medicare and too old for anybody else to care, but now I don't say that anymore because I am in Medicare. I just want to say that through the years of being here in Miami and having played and the opportunity to play on that team and with the guys that we have and the guys that we had at that particular time, I can't say enough about how fortunate I felt for my career to be playing here in Miami and to play with such a great group of guys, because in that little short span of time right there, we set the standard for winning that nobody else has been able to duplicate since.
It's been amazing. It is great to see you and chat with you. And that 22 looks great. I bet you could still go out and steal a base, too.
And I couldn't go 100 yards falling out of the sky.
Thanks, Mark.
You got it.
All right, guys. Mercury Morris.
Just a great personality.
Cool stuff right there.
Great personality, great running back, great history. Vance Worley gets 2 more ground ball outs to start the 7th inning. He has 16 ground ball outs. The 20 outs that he's recorded He's got 3 strikeouts, a fly ball out, and 16 ground ball outs.
Thrown under 20 pitches in every inning tonight.
And the guy that's bouncing to 2 double plays is Harper.
He's at 89 pitches right now. That's the most pitches he's thrown this season in any one start. Last time he's gone past 90, you have to go back to 2016. July 24th. Baltimore Orioles versus the Cleveland Indians. Good stuff early tonight.
Now, earlier in his career, when he was starting, he did have a couple of complete games. His last one in 2014. It was in San Francisco. Full count on Harper. In the air, center field and deep. Yelich back, squares up, and makes the catch. And Vance Worley, 7 shutout innings against the Washington Nationals. 7th inning stretch in Miami. It's 7-0 Marlins. Seven innings, he's done. A lot of handshakes, pats on the back. Just 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, and a career high 16 ground ball outs, 16 of the 21 outs recorded. And remember, he struck out 3. So of the 17 that were put in play, a fly ball out and 16 ground ball outs.
Yeah, well, fly ball out to Bryce Harper, and you're getting the ball in the air, so you're out of the game. No, I'm just kidding. Outstanding stuff from Vance Worley tonight. Showed you the pitch breakdown, but again, simple as it is, throwing your fastball for strikes, being able to move it around the strike zone, you can go through one of the best lineups in baseball. The highest scoring teams still find good results.
Odrisamer Despagne in Miami's bullpen. JT Realmuto's 0 for 3. Derek Dietrich, Tyler Moore will follow. Matt Albers still in there. Albers gets the second strike. Baseball headlines tonight. Tigers beat the Yankees. Jordan Zimmerman, former National, went 7 shutout innings. How about Irvin Santana? His 5th complete game, and Minnesota beat San Diego. Who saw that coming?
Well, the fact that he had 4 leading to the 5, you're right. I'm not sure I would have seen it.
I'm talking start of the season.
Right.
Not start of the day.
Right. Well, no. Well, what I was actually getting at was the fact that he's still a Twin, and it's surprising. I'm stunned. Not that he's pitching well, that somebody out there didn't think he would have been their answer. His name was out there for a little while. So 5 complete games on the season?
Yes.
Wow.
His 5th was today.
All right, it was a messy day in New York. Lots and lots and lots of rain. Tigers playing the Yankees. Scheduled start time today was at 1:10. Had a rain delay at first pitch. Pushed it to 2:31. That became the official start time. So the first delay was 81 minutes. Then they had another rain delay. Pushed it to 4:50. They restarted at 8:07. Wow. Yeesh.
And that's why Christian Roberts, who is critically acclaimed, highly decorated, and generally well liked, our director, was panning for the roof above Marlins Park, where you were giving the details of that lengthy. Look at that. That's an award-winning shot. That's at the front of his Emmy reel. JT Realmuto swings and misses. Derek Dietrich is up next. Dietrich 1 for 3 with a 2-run homer. That Braves-Dodgers game is 3-3 now, and it's top 6. Told you Bellinger hit a long home run for the Dodgers. His 30th.
Eric Dietrich, a 2-run home run his last time up. Real nice at bat. Felled off some tough pitches. Had some odd foul balls to go along with it, but it ended well. Upper deck home run to right.
Left-handed bats, as Todd pointed out at the outset of the telecast. He felt we're going to fare well against A.J. Cole, and boy did they ever. Gordon hasn't been retired. He's 3 for 3. Yelich hasn't been retired. He's 2 for 2. Gordon has a triple. Yelich has a homer and a double. Dietrich has the 2-run homer. Adrian Johnson, no swing. I want to call the Braves left fielder Domingo Santana, because didn't we see him with Milwaukee?
Correct. Yes.
Power hitter. That's Danny Santana, who was homered for Atlanta in that 3-3 tie with the Dodgers. Marlins and Braves Friday night in Atlanta, 7 o'clock Friday night. Marlins live. Alvarez runs it in. Of course, Derek Dietrich always enjoys going back to Atlanta. He was a shortstop at Georgia Tech. Probably spent half of his athletic scholarship at the varsity across the freeway from Georgia Tech. The iconic burger stand where they greet you with the what do you have, what do you have, what do you have. It's Kendrick on over to first. Dietrich is out, number 2. Here comes Tyler Moore. St. Louis, Milwaukee playing an interesting series. Cardinals have a 2-1 lead over the Brewers. That is bottom of the 5th. Cubs in Arizona. Cubs have been flexing their muscles lately. Scoreless into the 6th at Wrigley Field.
Scored 16 runs yesterday.
They have just 3 hits tonight. The problem for Arizona is Arizona has just 1 hit tonight. I believe that's a Jake Arrieta. Is it Zach Godley? It is. Godley and Arrieta matched up. Diamondbacks and Rockies right now sit in those wild card seats in the National League. But they're losing a little bit of steam lately. Colorado 500 in their last 10. Arizona's won 4 of their last 10. I guess it feels like they're losing steam because the Dodgers have ripped off 9 straight wins. And again,
they've done that a few times this year.
Yeah.
Those standings 75 and 31. There are more games over 500 than they have losses.
Next up on that wild card chase behind Colorado and Arizona is Milwaukee at 56 and 52. Two-two's down low.
Tyler Moore working hard to get going again. Bulk of the at-bats at first base. Justin Moore on the disabled list. Good opportunity for him. He'd back up like he did the last time Moore was on the disabled list. That would be outstanding. Tyler was really going the other way well. Driving the ball with authority to right center field.
Three-two. And Moore fouls it back. Well, this series feels like it's not going to be finished after tonight because the two teams are right back at it in D.C. on Monday. In a 10-game span, they play 7 times.
Get real familiar with each other that way. I was thinking that the Marlins just did this with the Reds. That series where you kind of introduce yourself, you feel each other out for a couple of ball games, and then next thing you know, you're in game 5, 6, and 7. You're like, wow, that's an awful lot of baseball against the same team. Reds you see in the Central. Let's take a look at the standings. You see it. Yeah, you're going to play the Nats an awful lot.
Rockies are in to start the next homestand. Marlins go to Colorado and Arizona on the last road trip of the season. Three-two. Well, this is a good battle here. Nine pitches.
That last road trip, you might see some snow. Colorado. Temperatures start to drop that time of year. I used to live in Colorado, lived there for 5 years. See some early season snow.
What an at-bat that was. 10-pitch at-bat ends with a single to right.
Good to see Tyler Moore really working through that at-bat. A bit of a tough homestand. He's had a couple of meaningful hits. Something to his liking, just above the kneecaps on the outside part of the plate, but going the other way. Watching Tyler through this homestand a few different times. Looked like he was struggling to pick up the ball or was really maybe pulling off it just a little bit. Nice at bat right there going the other way. There's the new guy. Kinsler up in the bullpen for the Nats. Should say the all-star Kinsler.
Rojas couldn't check his swing. Now Miguel Rojas is 1 for 2. He's walked and singled. 3 hits in the series. Ichiro on deck. Marlin bullpen was terrific last night. They're about to hop into this ball game. Odrisamer Despaigne. Rojas. That ball was in on his hands, and somehow he gets inside the ball and shoots it into right field. And then he's shaking. Now he's shaking the other hand. That's the thumb that he injured. Here's a look.
I'd probably be shaking my hands too. In off the corner. Pull his hands across and cut his hands across his body. That's what you see right there. That's how you do it, Rich. This isn't about extension. This is about rotation. Stays level through it. Cuts the baseball off before it gets too deep. 95-mile-an-hour two-seam fastballs are very difficult to stay inside of, and he just did it. That's why his fingers hurt.
And you see that rubber pad. You see a lot of hitters with that thumb pad that they use. It protects the inner portion of the hand from that bat jamming against it constantly.
Yeah, that's the shock absorber. There it is.
Where do you get one of those if you're a youth player? Is it Dick's Sporting Goods have those?
Absolutely. Yep, you can get them just about anywhere, any sporting goods store.
It's amazing to me how much baseball gear there is now available for that age group.
Right.
Right? Sliding pads, elbow guards. Dusty Baker's making a pitch and change. In Miami tonight, a GMC Wednesday showdown. Marlins and Nationals with the series tied at a game apiece. And what a thrilling series it's been. A near no-hitter, a 6-run comeback last night win for Miami. The Marlins right now on top 7-0. Some maneuvering for Dusty Baker to get Kinsler in this ball game. Adrian Sanchez comes in. Sanchez takes over at second. I assume that he'll be in the 9 spot and that Kinsler will be in Kendrick's spot, which is second in the order.
All-star season for Brandon Kinsler. 7.8 ERA.
Ichiro gets the at-bat. Now Ichiro on the Ichi meter, if you will. 3,060, tying him with Craig Biggio, 22nd all-time. Strike from Kinsler. Count evens at a ball and a strike.
Now from Kinsler, 2-seam, 4-seam fastball. Good slider to go along with it. Real heavy sink.
Kinsler's 6th major league season and an all-star season this year. He didn't really close at all until the 2015 season. Nitro inside outs 1. Nationals bullpen has been a work in progress, and they picked up a couple from Oakland, Madsen and Doolittle. Marlins saw Doolittle in the first game. He closed it, and then Brandon Kinsler.
All 3 gentlemen have closing experience. Dusty Baker, an arsenal of arms.
Nitro swings and misses, and Kinsler ends the inning. All well at Marlins Park. Camera 12 is functioning. Clevelander tonight. And Braves. 7 o'clock Marlins live. R.A. Dickey and the dancing knuckleball. Adam Conley, who has pitched quite well since returning from AAA New Orleans. It's a Friday night. The iconic Clevelander sign here at Marlins Park. Become a much better place to watch the game now that they've lowered that wall in left field. The fence used to
higher?
Yeah, see where the, well, there you go. There's the visual I was looking for. That's why he's a critically acclaimed director. That's the old fence line. It was lowered last season. And that cuts all the way across in front of the Clevelander. So all the peeps at the party can look right down onto the field instead of looking through the fence. Ryan Zimmerman. And you've got Adam Lind, Anthony Rendon. There's what I'm talking about.
Zimmerman 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 11 in the series. As I said earlier, Harper and Zimmerman have really been handled in this series. Marlins pitchers have done an outstanding job keeping these two from being involved.
And Despaigne is out in front 1-2. Odrisamer Despaigne earned his way back up here. Pitched well in New Orleans. Now you get a sense with all the carnage, so to speak, in the Marlins rotation, injury-wise, Chen's elbow, Volquez the knee, and now the elbow with Tommy John coming up. The struggles of Tom Kohler that Don Mattingly's going to have to piece it together from here on out, both rotation-wise and bullpen-wise. Though the Marlins have fared quite well here. The quality start tonight by Vance Worley. Chris O'Grady only 3 innings last night, but the bullpen was spectacular. Ellington, McGowan, Steckenrider, Tazawa, Ziegler. Jose Urena, outstanding on Monday night.
Well, an extra special shout out to Steckenrider. The job he did in that 7th inning. Boy, he went right through the heart of the Nats lineup, giving up a base hit, struck out Harper, struck out Zimmerman, got Murphy to pop up. It was just a real impressive inning, in my opinion. Nice stuff.
Ball's in the air. You know, that last, we call this in television graphics, when that panel comes up with the relievers. Thank you. It's a great illustration of how relievers are the offensive linemen of baseball, because when we throw something up for hitters, it's big and sexy, and it's got their pitcher on it. It's got maybe they're swinging. It's got, you know,
462s.
Yeah, it's got their numbers. Hey, 3 homers, big numbers, all that. Middle relievers, they get a little block of just raw data.
Put them all on the same block.
Right. There's nothing sexy about that.
Well, less is more when it comes to the pitchers, though. Lots of zeros is a good thing.
Right, but I mean, let's sexy it up. Let's put some headshots in there, maybe some action shots. There they are. They work in anonymity with the hoods on, behind the wall. We did give them love on the Marlins Live pregame show.
This is true.
You guys were talking about Dustin McGowan and
Vulture.
Phil Regan like a vulture. There's Ziegler. What was up with Ziegler's walk-up music last night?
What was it?
There was a Christmas song playing when Ziegler came in out of the bullpen as the closer, and I think that was a wager of sorts. We'll have to find out on the plane how much it took for Brad to go Christmas on us last night.
Wager 1 then. If he got it on. His first save of the season.
I was listening to the Marlins pregame show on radio tonight before the ball game as I was popped out of the booth, and Kyle Seeloff was talking with Ziegler, and it was interesting. He said he was nervous last night because not only was it a save situation, that didn't make him nervous, but he hadn't pitched in the big leagues in a while. So to get back on the mound and have it be a save situation in a 1-run game, that was something. Odrisamer Despagne takes the baton and keeps that 7-run lead. 2 for the Nationals. We arrive in the bottom of the 8th, and a reminder that MLB.TV Premium will get you every night, every device, every out-of-market game, and it gets you a free subscription to At-Bat Premium as well. #1 app for live baseball. Blackout, other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
D. Gordon, big night, 14th 3-hit game. That leads the National League. Second one this homestand.
Yeah, not a bad night for D. A walk, single, stolen base, triple, run scored, single, RBI, stolen base, run scored. You alluded to his basketball ability, and he was a terrific high school basketball player. So this would be a stat stuffer box score for him. He'd have a dozen points, 8 or 9 assists, some steals. This was the play.
Yeah, this might be the most impressive play of the night, as well as he swung the bat. Now, he's not able to turn it. He gets a throw off. How about it? Ranging high. He had to be at least a good, I don't know, what, 4 or 5 inches off the ground? Oh, I'm just kidding. He was way up there.
Didn't really want to play baseball. His father and his uncle talked him into it, and I love that great story where he was still on the fence about it. He went to the sporting goods store, he picked out the most expensive bat he could find, and he sent a photo to his dad and said, "Hey, look, I'll play if you buy this bat for me." And the rest was a lot of hard work. He wasn't a guy that came out of high school. He played small colleges and had to really polish his game before he got his shot in the Dodgers organization. Kinsler gets him out. Now Stanton and Yelich get a shot. Kinsler out of Las Vegas. Palo Verde High School.
Stanton, a couple of strikeouts his last time up. Big RBI double to start this game off. Gordon walked, ripped one into the right center field gap. Marlins have never looked back.
Stanton, a defensive swing. You could see Kinsler's got excellent stuff, and by stuff I mean ball movement.
Late movement in the strike zone.
That fastball explodes up. 95. Stanton strikes out.
A lot of tailing action on this fastball. Nats certainly are pretty happy with what they've seen from him tonight. This being the first glimpse of their new closer, maybe? Closer by committee?
Well, look,
Not sure how he's going to get used yet.
You want as many quality arms as you can get in the back of your pen.
As we pointed out, even Madsen has closing history.
One 2 to Yelich. Yelich, the 2-run homer. That was in the 5th. Double in the 6th, knocked in a run. A win tonight. Fish will be back 4 under. will have won 9 of 13. And those 13 games right now, including this one as the 13th, 77 runs.
So many ways this offense has really set up everything else that's been going right for the Marlins.
Sounds like they're going to run into knuckleballs on Friday night with R.A. Dickey. Hopefully the rain stays away from Atlanta. I know that's wishful thinking.
Tell you what, Rich, Kinsler's going to be tough on the National League East, and I know a lot of the teams in the East have not seen him. It's going to be a weapon that the Nats are going to be able to employ here down the stretch. We'll see it in the hitters, even in the Marlins hitters right now. So they're trying to get a feel for his release point, movement on his pitches. Advantage Kinsler right now.
Yeah, it's look, and you're not going to see him multiple times very much because you got just 2 months left in the season.
That's exactly right. I always believe in those type of acquisitions because when you pull a guy from the American League Central and you bring him over to the National League East and he's pitching at a high level, throw him in there against a lot of guys that have never seen him before. I mean, it is a huge, huge advantage. Nice catch. That's right. He's like, yeah, it was harder than you thought. Little tailing action. See? I got it.
He gets a tip of the cap from Freddie Gonzalez, third base coach.
You better have it because the gentleman behind him was in line.
Yeah, he was but very confident in his uniformed buddy. 3-2. I don't know if that's the same kid, but he's had whoever's been down that line has had a strong series. One night he had the bonefish catch of the game.
They overran it a little bit, made a nice recovery. Regrouped. Yeah, I just had to read that. Well, you know what line you're standing on? That's the left field line. That's what it's going to do. Especially off the bat of a lefty. There's your thank you.
Yelich rolls it to second. Sanchez on to first in time. And the Marlins are trying to put a finishing touch on a series win against the first place Nationals to the 9th. Sports Florida brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep. and by your South Florida Honda dealers. Big night for the lefty bats. Dee Gordon, Christian Yelich, Derek Dietrich, and a huge night for Vance Worley. There's Odrisamer Despaigne gets Wilmer Defoe, Jose Lobaton, and Adrian Sanchez. Second inning for Despaigne. Worley went 7, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, 16 ground ball outs. Liner into right center field, that's a hit. Stanton into the gap to cut it off. Defoe around first. He'll hold there. Nice throw by Stanton. And a leadoff single here in the ninth.
The Marlins have faced the minimum so far tonight. So they'll need to turn 2 to keep that in order.
Well, there's one. Rojas on to first. There's 2. Lobaton bounces into a double play, and if Despaigne can get Sanchez here, it will be 9 innings having faced the minimum.
You're asking, you shall receive. 2-seam fastball. We've seen this an awful lot tonight. Nationals hitters out and around some 2-seamers, and Dee Gordon and Rojas have been very, very busy tonight. Easy turn right there. Well, here you go. Nats have been shut out just 3 times this season, but all 3 times since July 8th. Fairly recently.
Sanchez came in a double switch. They count 0-1.
I have to admit, Nats obviously have a huge lead in the National League East, but you do wonder. Have to believe Dusty Baker's got to wonder this too, if his team is being pushed hard enough here late in the year. They've been out leading this division from the get-go. Sometimes you can lose that edge if you're not careful.
Well, look, in a division in which you've got a sizable lead, Marlins win this game, it's a 12-game lead. Home field advantage is one thing you could play for. However, the Dodgers are an unbelievable 75-31. Up the middle, and that's into center field. It's going to need to pick them off to face the minimum tonight. Sanchez with a hit. Goodwin is coming up. Only once in Marlins history have the Marlins gone through and faced the minimum, and that was Edinson Volquez and his no-hitter.
Wow.
How about that?
It's pretty amazing.
Six no-hitters in Marlins history.
Right.
No perfect games.
Now perfection's different. But I can promise you this. I don't need to promise. I don't think anybody was pegging tonight for that night to be running that graphic. Vance Worley, incredible performance tonight. Just great stuff, moving the fastball around, the cutter, two-seamer, the four-seam fastball above Bryce Harper's hands, down, ground ball after ground ball after ground ball.
Goodwin to right, hits it well. Stanton into the corner. Giancarlo leaps, and he got it! Wow. Giancarlo Stanton ends the game with a spectacular catch in right. How about that?
Amazing. Well, throw the score out the window. Who cares? That was well worth it. Sorry, Bonefish Grill. This is awesome. Off, running, full extension into the wall. How about that? Beautiful catch. Indeed.
What a nice way to finish for Miami. They take the series from the first place Nationals. They have a great homestand, going 5-2 on the homestand. The Marlins are 4 under at 51-55 and have won 9 of their last 13 ball games. And it's back on the road for the Fish after a 7-0 shutout win over the Nationals. On to Atlanta on Friday night. On to Marlins Live here next.